Shalom, shalom Israel. First and foremost, we'd like to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash, the honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, brothers in the highways and the byways, preaching, teaching His word in sincerity and in truth. This is your brother Shapal from the James Jamaica camp. With a quick lesson. And this one is based off Proverbs 30 and verse 7. All right, and it reads, two things have I required of thee, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, right? Lest I be full and deny thee, right? And say, who is the Lord, right? Or lest I be poor and steal and make thy name, the name of Yahweh Shemiyah in vain. No, it's a very humble precept, man, right? And it's just one where, coming in this faith, I personally held, close to my heart. I mean? I store this precept in my mind, and, because regarding to how society is today, man, you don't really want to get entangled with a lot of things out there, because wealth, this society, riches, or, these things have a lot of demons on them. Everything in this society which I go accumulate, it have a lot of spirits attached to it. And now, the time we're in, you don't really want that, man. You don't really want that. You understand? Right? And this scripture basically speak of a balance, because you don't want to be dirt poor either. You know what I mean? Because as a man of the Lord, you have to travel to camp. You know what I mean? You have to be, you don't want to be bums, man. You don't want to, you want to have a life, a simple life, where you can maintain, because you have things basically, the ministry. You know what I mean? You need to basically throw tithes, so you can help out other brothers, So you don't want to be poor where you can't even help yourself and such, which we know the Lord Yahweh Shemiyah Shai, watches over, them that fear him, right? So all in all, man, when it comes down to it, it's a balance that matters. Now, starting from top again, it said, two things have required of thee, deny me them not before I die. So remove from me vanity and lies. All right. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Right. And the food that is convenient, man, that is the knowledge, right, and strength, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That is convenient, man. Right? Scripture says what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Right? Now, in the time where we're heading in, man, there's no amount of riches, there's no amount of prep where you go prep that can sustain you. Alright? No amount of prep where you prep. Right? Especially when it comes on to carnal things. The prep we need for your prep is more spiritual, man. Spiritual food that is convenient, right? Which goes back to these words, right? We need to prep up the spirit. That's what we need, man, right? So that is convenient, right? And with this, scripture says what? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, man, and everything else will be added unto thee. Just to roughly paraphrase the scripture, right? And how you do it is occupy these words. Once you're occupied in these words, man, everything else will be added. Just leave everything to Yahweh Shemiyah, right? He's not going to leave you high and dry. All right, so it's at least I be full and deny thee and say, who is the Lord? And that's what happened to a lot of brothers, we come into this faith and get a taste of the world. Well, they were out there in the world, but, return to them vomit. You come and then you look back, and then you might have, you might get some sort of opportunity, right, to go maybe overseas or, to make a bit more money. And then, the scripture tells us that wherever your treasure is, there will your heart be also, So then your heart is no longer on the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that is promised, man. You see, what we're looking for now is a promise. You know, and a promise is something that is not seen, man. And that's why we have hope. Let's go back to Hebrews. You know? So we're looking for a promise, man. Something that is promised to us. And you know, you can't see a promise, you can believe and trust and hope. Right? And in this case, we're hoping in a power that cannot lie. See, so there's nothing that we see in this society we're enticed to where we are go. We let go of the promise for hold on to, man. That's foolish. You know what I mean? And in the eyes, you know what I mean, we looked at as stupid. Because when you really looked at that statement in reverse, we would be the stupid ones for looking for something that we cannot see. But people can see things, you know, wealth and riches and all of them things in the society. But nevertheless, man, so it's at least I be poor. Or at least I be poor and steal and take the name of Lord thy God in vain, right? So you don't want to be that man, you know, where you reach to dirt poor, where, you know, you have to, you know, steal. As a man of the Lord, there's certain characters, you know. You don't want to reach that way, man. Right? So, let me get another scripture just to back this point. This is Ecclesiasticus 11 and verse 20. I'm sorry, let's start verse 18. So there is that wax rich, but is weariness and pinching, and this is the portion of his reward. Whereas he said, I have found rest, and now will eat continually of my goods, yet yet he knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave these things to others and die. So scripture say we're brought nothing into this world, and surely we will take nothing out. Just roughly paraphrase the scripture. You know, this place is where you come and experience pleasure, and then you move on, man. Right? When it's time, you know. But you know, just keep in mind, man, we are just mere spirits, you know, passing through, you know, waiting on our kingdom. So there's nothing to really hold on to, you know what I mean, or settle on or anchor down to. You know, this society, worse, it's not given by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but by carnal men. You know. Verse 20, be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, right, and wax whole in thy work, right? So be steadfast in thy covenant, right? And we can see if it say we have made a covenant with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. Right? Now we come to this truth, we set our foot to the plow, right? And then what we do, we go out there on the highways and the byways, preaching these words, man. Right? So we're supposed to be what? Steadfast in that. You know? Because Yahushua died for us, man. See? Yahushua died for us. See? So we can get this knowledge and understanding, so we can go out there, man. And when we come to this thing, man, right? When we come to this thing, and you're being grabbed by that spirit, you know what I mean, and compelled. We go out there, and our minds are totally out of this wicked place, and we set our mind solely in doing this job, right? Solely on doing this job, man, right? And the scripture says what? Be conversant. Let's look up the word conversant in the Merriam-Webster. I had it right here on the screen. Why are these people sending me these? Oh my God. All right. So having knowledge or experience used with, right? Having frequent and familiar association, right? There's some synonyms. It's abreast, acquainted, familiar, informed, acknowledged, up to, conversed, all right? Well informed, right? So, one of the things where we converse with, you know what I mean, our frequent, or having frequent familiar association with is continuing this truth, right? The knowledge and of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua pushing his truth, man, right? And once we continue in that, I was saying, you leave everything else behind and let everything fall on Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, and he will direct that path. It's not within us, All right. Yeah, it's be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax hold in thy work. Marvel not at the work of sinners, but trust in the Lord, and abide in thy labor. Saying, trust in the Lord, man, abide in thy labor. Right? Which go back, as I say, in this truth, this ministry, man. Right? Just trust that the Lord will provide, and just continue. Right? Leave everything to him. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. Look, that's the simplest thing, man. The scripture tell about the lilies of the field, the birds who have never toiled or worked at the end of them life, but the Lord feed them. Right? Scripture speak about, scripture say what? Isn't Solomon more array? Right? The flowers, the flowers like and the Lord water them, and bring them up beautifully. Right? But trust me, as the scripture or a quote basically said, matter of fact, let me just get that. All right, so this is Luke 12 and verse, let me see where we should start. Let's start at verse. Let's start verse 22. And he said unto his disciple, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for your body, right, and what ye shall put on. For the life is more than meat, and your body more than raiment, right? And this is deep, man, because it's more spiritual, man. Scripture says, greater is he that is in you that is in the world, and the spirit is what the Lord love. That spirit is which is within, right? And more the spirit getting nurtured, the body feeling a lot of affliction, right? So concerning about these things is concerned about the flesh, which is carnal, man. Leave things be to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So life is more than meat, and body is more than raiment, right? Consider the raven, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouses nor barns, and feed Yahweh Hashem Yahushai feed them. Right? The most I feed them, how more are ye better than the fowls? Right? Greater, because we're being given dominion, and through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? And which of you taking thought can add to his stature 1 cubit? Right? Verse 26. If ye then be not able to do that thing which is least, why take thought for the rest? Consider the lilies that how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. Right? And yet I say unto you, Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Right? That's the scripture that I was quoting earlier on. Right? So it's if then Yahweh knows so clothe the grass, which is today in the field and tomorrow cast into the oven, right? How much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? Right? So that show lack of faith, man, concerned about these things. Right? Say, and seek ye not what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, for neither be ye doubtful of a doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. See, right? So verse 31 says, rather seek ye the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and all these things shall be what? Added unto you. Right? Verse 32, fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Right? And that says it all, man. That's self-explanatory, man. Right? That's just me. That said it all. We can't even close the lesson right there, but let's just finish this. Let's just finish. It says, marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord, right, on a sudden to make a poor man rich. But this is the least. I was just saying before, man. Think of all the works that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua did. Yahweh, the Most High, created this. You have the blueprint. You have the power to destroy and to create. Feeding you is the least, man. But the reason why we think, because we're in flesh, we can't comprehend certain things, man, of the spirit. And the reason why you might think when you're in a certain situation, you're going to die and the Lord not going to save you. As you said, we in flesh, right? And we lack faith. And it is a simulation to test or to try your faith, man. You know? That's what it basically is. You're in a simulation that is testing and trying your faith. Right? So that we can be found as burnt offerings. Right? All right. All right, so it's the least thing for the Lord to do, man. All right, so it's a blessing. The blessing of the Lord, right, is the reward of the godly, and suddenly he make it his blessing flourish. Say not, what profit is there in my service, and what good thing shall I have hereafter? All right, because look, one thing, doing the will of the Lord, we're not supposed to look for anything. You know what I mean? I'm going to say that because everything that we're doing is for our own benefit. We're mere servants. You know what I mean? It's a pleasure coming out here, man, and doing this. You know? We're not supposed to look for nothing. But nevertheless, there is a grand reward, man. There's a grand reward. Right? All of us deserve that. We don't deserve nothing. This is the Lord's creation, man. He do whatsoever he will with his creation. You know? So we don't really deserve anything at all. You know? But to the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, you know, we will get a reward for our work. But think not upon, I don't want to say think not upon the reward, you know, but on a level, man, the work that we're doing, you know, that's what our main focus to be on. Right? You see me? Which is the kingdom of heaven also. Because this is what edify and build us up, right? So that we can keep our eyes on the kingdom. All right, continuing. Again, say not I have enough and possess many things, and what evil shall I have hereafter? In the day of prosperity there is forgetfulness of affliction, right? And in the day of affliction there is no remembrance of prosperity. See, so when things might be good, you know what I mean? You forgot the affliction, man. See, man, that's why the scripture says it's supposed to go to the house and mourning. Sadness is better than laughter. You know what I mean? For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. See, so a rough life basically, it teaches you, man. And you know, it grows your spirit. You ever wonder how some of the men them were in a low position, man? Them always, when you find yourself in a low position, you sing some of the humble songs. You know? You start to look at things different. You know? But when you're up at the top, right, it's like you forget a lot of things. And that's why the scripture I read first speak about food convenience. You know? Let me read that again. It's in the day of prosperity, there's forgetfulness of affliction. So when a cup full and you're eating every day, man, you forgot, you know, that you're a servant. You know what I mean? You forgot what humbleness feel like. You know, that's why we can't get too comfortable in this truth. Right? And in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. Right? And that's a balance again. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. The affliction is for an hour. The affliction of an hour is like you make it a man to forget pleasure. Right? And in his end, his deed shall be discovered. See, so as I said before, that's why we're going through all of these trials, man. Right? So in at the end, you know, Trust me, these are gonna be discovered, man. I want the Lord Yahweh Shemi Yashai basically look upon our works and have mercy. Right? So whatever we do, angels taking record. That's why we say continue in this faith, in true sincerity. For Ecclesiasticus 11, 10 verse 11, we'll just jump around, forget the points. So for when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beast and worm. And so a lot of these things you can't really take with you. See? That's why the spirit is more important, man. The spirit is more important. The spirit is more important, man, than all these things. He said, whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is in the fear of the Lord. Right? So he said, whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is in the fear of the Lord. It is not meet to despise the poor, right? That art understanding, neither is it convenient to magnify a sinful man. Right? So, being poor, with understanding is, the Lord is favorable. And that's how we speak at the balance at the beginning. As long as you're at a low stature, man, and you have understanding, knowledge. A lot of the men, them, when you look upon the disciples of Yahweh Shemi Yahshai, when Yahweh Shai was here, none of those disciples were wealthy men. But they have a lot of knowledge and understanding, man. Right? So, we said that for basically come to a conclusion that there's a balance, in this truth that we need to really strike, and, having faith in Yahweh Shemi Yahshai and his words, keeping that work that we're doing, continually, trusting in him, and leave everything to him. We don't want to get too comfortable, Nevertheless, we don't want to get poor that we can't find the basic necessities, because we have to function in a society also. See? So the food convenient that we basically need, is a little, is the word of Yahweh Shemi Yahshai. Right? Faith, through all, because the times that we're coming up on, we're going to need a lot of faith. We're going to need the knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Shemi Yahshai, man. We're going to need that spirit with us. Without that spirit, man, we're like blind men. We can't be blind another time to come, and there's just dire times coming. Right? We have to have the eyes. We have to have the spirit with us, man. Right? So, with that, hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and the byways, preaching, teaching this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.